WPBF 25 News at 6 starts with breaking news.
Breaking now at 6, Damian Conti, a former South Tech Academy teacher, is found guilty of having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old student. The jury found Conti not guilty of playing a role in her attempted suicide. Good evening, I'm Felicia Rodriguez.
I'm Todd McDermott. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. Our investigative reporter Terry Parker has been in that courtroom each day since the trial began and joins us live with more on the jury's verdict. Terry.
Right, and it took that jury just 90 minutes to find former teacher Damian Conti guilty of having sex with his former student while he was her teacher. They found him not guilty of assisting in her attempted suicide.
We find the defendant guilty of unlawful sexual activity with a minor.
That's what happened right when the verdict was read. Damian Conti showed no emotion as that verdict came down. His attorneys had claimed that he never had sex with a girl, and they argued that there was no proof that he had sex with a student. And now we're going to take a look at some of the dramatic moments that happened today, leading right up to the moment before that verdict.
In a final dramatic moment before resting their case, prosecutors silently opened evidence bags and pulled out a chain and thick length of rope to show the jury. It's the rope the 16-year-old victim was found hanging from in a wooded area about a mile from where her former teacher called 911. Damian Conti's attorneys say he was never part of a suicide pact, that he saved her life with that call.
There is no evidence that would corroborate that, except for her testimony. There is no evidence that she testified to anything about Mr. Conti wanting her to commit suicide.
The state argues Conti was actually stalling for time, hoping the teen would go through with ending her life, taking with her evidence of their illegal relationship just discovered by the school that day.
He called 911 to have something there on the record in existence in the event that she succeeded with her suicide.
Conti had the girl's location on his phone, but prosecutors say he didn't lead police right to her at first. And they say he didn't stop her from buying the rope and chain at Home Depot and leaving to find a secluded place. Conti's attorneys say that's because he panicked and called his therapist, that he thought he had time to get help before the teen carried out what she called their suicide pact. And as far as the underage sex charges, Conti's lawyer says actual sex never happened, that the explicit sexting the pair conducted was just a fantasy, part of their romantic relationship.
Even if it wasn't supposed to be happening, that's what it was, a relationship without a label.
On rebuttal, prosecutors brought home their main charge.
The word relationship was used ad nauseum, and Ms. Bomer said it was a relationship without a label. There is a label to that relationship, and the word is illegal.
And the jury did not find enough evidence to convict Conti of assisting in that attempted suicide, which the girl miraculously did recover from. Right now, prosecutors have declined to comment until Conti's sentencing is complete. That now is scheduled for August 15th. Live in West Palm Beach, I'm Terry Parker, WPBF 25 News.